So let me start with what do we mean by epiphanies? Epiphanies are some sort of vision or realization and something that comes to you all of a sudden. And today, I'm going to talk about two such epiphanies in my life. One that took me to the real highs, and second, that actually pulled me from the bottom when I hit. So before doing that, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Priyanka Khurana Goyal. I was a very good student when I was your age. I used to study a lot, and I did my MBA from IIM Calcutta. So all those. I was definitely a nerd. I can tell you that. After that, I went to IIM Calcutta. I wanted to get the job which pays the most. So I joined investment banking, and Lehman Brothers used to be quite a good name at that point in time. So I joined it. And after that, I married the love of my life. I met him during my preparation. And after that, I had a small baby. I was working, I'm still working as an investment banker and currently working as managing director at Nomura. Now, thank you. And meanwhile, while I was doing all that, I did win Mrs. India 2015 and Mrs. Earth 2016 and became the first Indian to win Mrs. Earth title in 2016. So with the number of claps I'm hearing, you guys must be thinking my life is pretty sorted, huh? All the things going on pretty well. But my dear friends, these are just the highs. Let's get a little bit into the backstory. So in 2013, when my son was born, I was enjoying a lot with all the new challenges that were coming my way. Sometimes it is enjoyment, sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge. And when you are going through that thing, somehow I felt society had made it to my head at that point. I used to think, what next? Because you were good in school, you were good in college, then you go to IIM, get the job that you always wanted. Now you had, you had a good marriage, then baby, but what next? And when I was thinking about all these things, when these things were actually going on in my head, that is the time when I saw this. Do you have it in you? Was this an ad for some finance job? No. Was this something to do with my investment banking career? Not at all. This was an invitation for Mrs. India 2015. Now, all the girls here can appreciate that even though whether you are a nerd or not a nerd, when it comes to fashion, we all do our own ramp walks in front of mirror every now and then. And especially when you have bought something nice, you want to look in mirror and appreciate yourself. So it doesn't matter whether you are studious, non-studious. So this is a faint dream that every girl has. At that point, but I wasn't sure that whether this faint dream could ever become reality. I used to think, what will my parents say? What will my family say? People usually have, especially in the middle class, they have a very mediocre view of people in the fashion world. So I was going through all those questions and I had become an overthinking machine at that point in time when I was about to decide. Now it was during these days, I still remember this scene, and which is where the realization came. I remember a scene when my child was learning to walk. He would walk a little bit, then he would fall down. He would get up, then he would walk. Again he would fall down. This time he would laugh. Then again he would get up. He walks, again he falls down. This time he laughs harder. And this was the moment when I realized we keep on trying to teach all these young children. Are we truly grown up or grown down? Look at the attitude that the small child has. This is full of experimentation. He is looking at life as full of opportunities, something that he really wants to enjoy every moment. Whether he is failing or passing, it doesn't even matter. In fact, when he is failing, he is laughing out. So, what has happened to that attitude? Where has that child gone? Now, this child, this person, he wants to or she wants to be known as an investment banker, as a wife, as a mother, and you want to typecast yourself into those things. But what has happened to that spirit of learning every day? What has happened to this spirit of enjoying every new thing that you can ever see? So my question had the answer inside it. And this thing, the answer was yes. The answer was yes to starting a new phase of my life. The answer was yes to starting a spirit of experimentation and then sharing it with the world. So yes, I did try and I did decide that I will participate in Mrs. India 2015. Then, when I was preparing for Mrs. India, I did put together all the things that I have learned while preparing for IIM and CAT entrance exam. So you have to work hard, you have to really put your act together, you have to understand what is the competition like, you have to understand what is your team strength, you have to see how you are going to put together the entire project. So yes, my experience in investment banking did come to rescue when it was about preparation, and the rest is history. So this is what was happening in my life when I won Mrs. India, Mrs. Earth. So I can say that my life was singing a melody and I was dancing on it. So all those things. So my calendar was marked with fashion events, working in different shows as showstopper, be it the largest shows in India, working with so many brands, and then this is what every girl's dream is, to look pretty, right? And everyone wants to do that at some point in their career. And so then I was moving from one part of India to another, working in various I was working with a number of brands and trying to learn and experiment with different looks and different ways in which I would go. And the main idea was that child in me had come alive, and the child in me was really enjoying. Isn't immune system supposed to protect yourself? Why is the immune system attacking itself? Doctor said that we don't really know the answer, and it can happen to anyone, anytime. And so what is the solution that I have? The solution was immunosuppressants, which suppress your immune system. The solution was hormones, and the solution was steroids. Now this is like the doctor is explaining to me that because your immune system is attacking one organ, now this organ makes some hormones, we will give you hormones from outside, so nothing to worry about. But hang on. This means what you're telling me is my kitchen has caught fire and then let's order food from Swiggy. That is what it looks like. Because your immune system is attacking one organ, let's leave that organ alone. Whatever that organ is doing, we'll give you from outside. But what if the fire catches the whole body? What if the fire catches my drawing room and my bedroom? What will happen then? And while I am debating all these things in my head, the picture that was coming in my mind, because any of you who know about how these medicines work, steroids are, while they are life-saving and they can actually help you a lot, but steroids do make you look very fat, and like for someone who is at that point taking pride in the way they look, this is not something of an easy thing to handle. So from Priyanka on steroids of living a life which is high to Priyanka on steroids, which is this. So this was a time in my life when I was thoroughly confused. I didn't know what I want to do. And I was looking for answers. I was talking to one doctor after another. I was looking at various things. I was studying. I was looking at various TED Talks, which helped me. And I was looking at a number of various alternative solutions that could happen. Now this is then during this time, which is about a month after this diagnosis, I was walking one day in morning walk, bright sunlight. Now I'm looking at the sun. This is the same sun I have seen for thousands of times before. But today, something was different. I was looking at the sun and I was looking at the trees around. When you look at those trees, some of the leaves are falling, some of the leaves are getting old, and some leaves are very good. Maybe they were just born one day before. Then you are looking at the plants, the flowers on those plants, the butterflies are there. And suddenly you realize that when everything is working perfectly in nature, you suddenly realize that currently you are standing in front of the purest source of energy. All life on earth, all food on earth, whether you are a vegetarian, whether you are a non-vegetarian, is direct or indirect form of sun's energy. So what I was looking in this scene and the sun was I was looking at the master healer himself. And the realization or the epiphany that comes to me at that point in time was when nature created my body, it was not expecting me to have access to Google. It was not expecting me to have access to so many doctors. When nature created my body, at that point, every cell in my body wants to live. And that's why the creation happened. And the realization which came has got 4 points which I'll share with all of you. And the beauty about that is, you don't need to be very intelligent to understand those 4 points. You don't need to be a doctor to understand those 4 points. Forget all these things. You don't need to be having the brain size of a human being to understand those points. These are simple realities of life, and the only thing you have to do is let nature do the job and get out of the way. And what are these 4 understandings? First is eat food made by Mother Nature. Why do you want to work so hard in cooking the food? Why do you want the factories to be working so hard? Ultra processed food. You eat whatever Mother Nature gave you in the form that Mother Nature gave you. So what I did for myself is majority of the food used to be raw. It still is. The second one, it's extremely simple. When do you eat? You eat when you are hungry. As simple as that. You don't eat when you are doing a party. You don't eat when you just got promoted. You don't eat when you are watching a Netflix movie. You eat when you are hungry. Isn't that but obvious? That is why hunger is there for. That's a clue when your body is ready to digest even chole bhature. So this is very simple. You eat when you are hungry. The third one is you sleep when it is dark and wake up before sunrise. Again, all these 3 things which I have mentioned so far, you don't need to be very intelligent. Look at all the animals. They're doing that. It's all in the nature. And number 4 is play and laugh outdoors. And give your respect to the master healer at least 10 minutes a day, which is the sun. If you do these 4 points, a lot of things will start changing in your life. And you have to do it to believe it. What happened with me? The results. My autoimmune disease, one of them, got into complete remission. No medicines, complete remission. The other one, there was a 50% reduction. And my family got so excited looking at this because this is something you don't believe, that just by sleeping early, just by eating according to your hunger, natural foods, and just by being in sun, who would imagine this would happen? And your disease is going away, which you had spoken to 9 doctors, and all of them you will have to take steroids and live a life like that all your life. This is what I was told. That okay, fat, you will be fat, there is nothing we can do. So, and my family got so inspired. My father started doing this with me, and he had diabetes, BP, cholesterol for last 20 years. Last 2 years, none of those exist. No medicines, complete remission into all these things. Just imagine the potential that these simple learnings can have. India is today number one in diabetes. It is the diabetes capital of the world. And so much of funds are being spent every day on management of this disease. So this is what I want to leave you with. And just to conclude, these epiphanies, I gave you 2 epiphanies in my life. The one that actually, when I got it when the times were going good. And that epiphany took me to the highs that I got in my life. And the other one actually picked me when I had no hope. That epiphany or that realization became the hope. Because I feel that you may have heard many times that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Same way, when you get these realizations in your life, they are worth much, much more. It's a sum product of a number of intelligence that is hidden inside you. And you could think of it as the universe way of guiding you into wherever they want you to go, wherever your life is taking you. So, on that note, I'd like to close that maybe these epiphanies are either tools that will help you in your search for deeper meanings in life. And this is a woman's search for her why.